Okay, let's work together to do the first two problems here. So first I'm looking at the pattern that I see here. The X represents any unknown element, but we know it's going to be a non-metal since this is covalent bonding. And first I need to look at what I see around that element, imagining that it's bonded to something else over here, but I'm focusing in on this element. So first, how many valence electrons did the atom have before bonding? That actually might be one of the harder questions until you know what to look for. So when I see these two electrons over here, those were atom or electrons this atom had before. And then every time an atom makes a bond, it has to share one electron that it already had. So since I see 3 bonds here, that means 1, 2, 3 more electrons that it had. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to put 5 here. And now the next question says, how many shared pairs of electrons are shown? So remember, shared pairs are going to be the ones reaching out. The sharing is reaching out to the next atom. So not these over here, but these that are being shared. And now we're counting pairs. 1 pair of shoes is 2 shoes. Here the bond represents 2 electrons being shared. 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs. So there are 3 bonds, which means 3 shared pairs. Next question says, how many lone pairs or unshared pairs of electrons are shown? The unshared pairs are the ones that are not in the bonds. So looking back over here, it's these 2 dots. Remember, 2 is 1 pair. So 2 dots means 1 lone pair or 1 unshared pair. Next question says, how many bonds are there and what kind of bonds are there? So here I see 3 bonds, but they are all together, so that's 1 triple bond. And this is going to be a little bit hard for me to write with this tool, but I'll do my best to say 1 triple. Just 1 trip. That's okay with everyone? All right, now what group number is the element in? There are some like this on the test, and so you can look here and there's a few ways to tell. First of all, if I look at this pattern and then I scroll down and I look for that pattern here, the only place I see 2 dots and a triple bond is here. So the group number is 15. Another way to do it is to say, well, I know it had 5 valence electrons before, or I could also think about it needed 3 bonds or 3 shared pairs. So if I look up at the top of my bond chart, the number of valence electrons and the bonds, the one that had 5 valence electrons and 3 bonds is again group 15. So that means that X, this X would have to be one of the elements in group 15, either N or P. So the last question says, name 1 non-metal element this would be. I would just pick maybe the top one in the group. The most common would be N, nitrogen. Let's do the next one, maybe just a little faster. So here is the element I'm looking for, and I see how many valence electrons did it have before. Remember, there's 1 in the bond that it had to donate or share, and then something else over here would donate back. So it only had 1 electron to start with in its valence shell. So you might already know what it is, but let's keep going. How many shared pairs of electrons are shown? So the shared pairs are the bonds. They're reaching out to share. So there is one shared pair. One bond is one pair. How many lone pairs or unshared pairs? I don't see any dots. They're all shared. So none, 0. And then next, how many bonds are there and what kind of bonds are there? Single, double, or triple. So I see one bond and it's a single bond then, of course, if there's only one. I'm just going to say 1S for single because my pen isn't easy to use here. And then what group number is this element in? So I'm going to look at this picture and scroll down again. And the only one I see that only has one bond, well, there's two that only have one bond, but look at the difference. This one has 6 unshared electrons or 3 unshared pairs, 3 lone pairs. This one doesn't have any. So the one that looks like my drawing above is this H. Also, we could say, oh, only one valence electron and one bond. That matches here as well. So it has to be hydrogen. And that's group 1. All right, good luck with the rest. There's a video at the bottom that you can use to check your work.